welcome to Reading with Eve. Let's get on with a bookish video. Today we have a kind of a short and sweet one. I'm just here to recommend you some isolated thriller and mystery book recommendations. It's one of my favorite tropes, and over the past year I read a few that I think qualify. As always, small caveat when it comes to these recommendations, even books that I didn't personally love or even keep, but that I think fit this trope, I'm gonna recommend to you because, it's just one opinion. For all you know, this will be your favorite book of all time. So it bears mentioning. But without any further ado, let's talk about these books. When it comes to settings, I have a few that are set within some kind of like a nature setting that's very remote and isolated from everything. And I have a couple books that are set on trains and all of those sorts of moving objects where the isolation is even more imminent. So I'll start kind of from the wider perspective and then move my way in. So at first we have Sanatorium by Sarah Pearse. I personally didn't love this one, hence why I don't have it on physical, but it is a detective novel about a woman who she's traumatized from her past events, and she has to go to her brother's engagement party at this Swiss Alps-like setting with a really fancy former sanatorium place that's now rebuilt into a grand hotel. But his fiance, like her brother's fiance, goes missing, and she has to put on her detective hat that she's been neglecting for a while because of said trauma and figure out what happened to his fiance. I personally, like I said, I don't read detective thrillers often, especially ones that require you reading all of them in the series to get what's happening. Like, that's just not my vibe. But if that is your vibe, if you like detectives doing their job and solving all these mysteries and disappearances in a more technical way, and if you love wintry isolated settings, then do check this one out. Then I have And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. It is, I still have it, but it is downstairs with my classics and Litfic and all of that stuff, because technically, like, I count that as a classic. Actually, no, what am I talking about? I have it right here. Bear with me. I clearly don't even know what I have and where Sorry, they were like far in the corner behind like a pile of new books that from the library sale back in the summer even that I haven't read. So I didn't see them, but anyway. And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. It's a classic mystery featuring 10 people who show up to this small remote island that they can't leave when there's a high tide, and they start dying one by one. And that's pretty much all you need to know, really. It's a very whodunit mystery style sort of book that will leave you guessing until the very end, but you can really feel the isolation because the island is pretty small. Like, you can pretty much see end to end if you're at a higher point. It's very remote, and the weather is really bad as well throughout points of the story, so it really brings that feeling of confinement that you are kind of screwed, basically, because whoever is fucking with you, they're not gonna stop, and you can't run away. So yeah, that really encapsulates the feeling. Then I have kind of like trying to do it by setting, because it's a little bit of a different way to go about it. What else would fit? Oh, actually, might as well. So another one that I have is isolated in a bit of a different way, and it is Riley Sager's The House Across the Lake. This features a woman who is confined to her mother's lake house as a private rehab sort of thing because she is still suffering from the death of her husband, and she is now an alcoholic who is jeopardizing her career and her image. So her mom is like, yeah, you need to sort your shit out, so you're gonna go and spend some time in this lake house, cabin, whatever. But obviously it doesn't really help her because she spends her time getting drunk and observing her neighbors that are across the lake, as the title and the cover display. This one, the action kicks into gear once she realizes that that married couple she's been observing, the wife might be missing, and the husband might know more than he's letting on. So it's the case of a bit of, wannabe investigation and figuring out that the husband, and we know a lot of the times it's the husband, but this one will surprise you. Just be aware that it does have supernatural elements in it. So does that turn you off of it? I know it does some people. Some people found out that there are elements and of that in it, and where they were like, I don't care. 1 star immediately. So just be aware of that going in. I don't really see it as a spoiler because it's an important part to know if you want to manage your expectations with this book. So just be aware of that. Where does the isolation come from? Well, all of this book is set around this lake setting, and it's implied that she can't very easily leave the area as well, so I think that it definitely fits the vibe. She can't get help easily should the husband be, this evil man who she thinks he is sort of vibe, so I think it fits the mold. Then I have Runtime by Catherine Ryan Howard. This one is about a struggling actress who, her career has basically gone to the crapper, and she receives this offer to star in a horror movie by this director who wants to do old school style, go back to his roots. He wants to film it in the super remote Irish foresty area, and she takes the chance because she doesn't really have many other options left, and she's not ready to let her fame go. So she gets there and she realizes she's the only woman on set, which immediately would set all sorts of, not just flags, but a full-on red parade in my mind. I would be gunning back to civilization and all that. So, she obviously tries to, do her job and gain her fame back and all that, and then things get really weird really quickly. So I really enjoyed this one. It had some interesting commentary on movie making and thriller horror cliches. The main character was interesting, and the atmosphere was really effective in the sense that the rain, torrential storm basically, she can't leave really, she can't find help or get anywhere, and she's kind of at the mercy of whoever is playing games with her. So yeah, I think it really fits to the vibe that we're going for here. Then I have so now I have a bit of a vibe shift. We are technically literally in space, but we are confined into a ship, really. So it is Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. This is a horror technically, but I'm lumping it in here because I just think it fits. And it definitely has thriller elements, especially in the last third, it kind of turns into more of a suspense thriller rather than an outright horror book. So we have a space scavenger crew. It's set in the future, obviously, where they float around space and they try to find unclaimed spaceship wreckages and all that, and see if they can just get something out of them and bring them treasures back and claim them and all of that. And they stumble onto Aurora, the first ever space ship liner. Basically, it is very non-subtly referencing the Titanic. So think Titanic, but in space, with the elements of The Shining. So this one, it was genuinely really creepy, especially in the first half, and very isolated in the sense that they are in space and they're also confined in this really weird ship setting where they realize that not everything is as it seems, and they start seeing things and they don't know who to trust, and it's all very, like, they're light years away from any help and all that. I don't think you can get much more isolated than that. So I think it makes sense to me to put this book under this category. And then the last couple I have are set on trains, and I think actually one of them is inspired by the other. I guess, I don't know. But even so, they are completely different stories. So I have Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. It's a Hercule Poirot mystery. He is taking a train across multiple cities. That's, I think, like an overnighter, and there's a murder on the train, and obviously he is a detective, so he starts investigating it. It has a really interesting plot twist and kind of a masterful execution of the whole mystery element. I can't really tell you much more than that, because I mean, I went in knowing the twist, but it didn't ruin my experience at all. It was really atmospheric. Obviously, it's a moving train. How on earth are you meant to escape that? And then they get trapped in like a snow storm sort of thing. So yeah, it definitely fits to the vibe. So far, I would say I've only read 2 Agatha Christie's, but this is definitely my preferred one. And then the last one I have, With the Vengeance, another Riley Sager book. This is also set on a train. It's set in the 1950s. We have, I believe her name is Anna. She assembles a revenge scheme to get justice for her family, who were essentially murdered and blamed by really powerful people. And she has this plan to make them pay and then make sure that they serve the time that they didn't serve because they got away with this. So she wants justice for her family, basically. And everything seems to be going really well with that, because she concocts this elaborate scheme to get them on this train to where they will be taken in by the justice people, police, that's the word. But things get out of hand very quickly when they realize that there's a killer on the train, and this killer is not interested in following I can't speak today. He's not interested in following Anna's plan. He wants to, he or she want to slice and dice. Like, they want vengeance, not justice. This is a really interesting book with some commentary in a way that it's not in your face. It's just good fun, and it's so twisty, and you can definitely feel that sense of helplessness, since, they are literally on a moving train. And unlike Murder on the Orient Express, like, the train keeps moving the whole time. It has a destination to be at, and it's not stopping, and they can't run away, they can't escape, and they don't know who they can trust. It's all very definitely like a classic retro murder mystery style with a bit of a modern twist to it, even though it's set in the 1950s. Like, I really enjoyed it. I think at the moment it is actually my favorite Riley Sager book, which is insane considering that a lot of people didn't like it, and they praised like his other ones. But I love pretty much all of his work. I mean, The House Across the Lake is my least favorite one, and it's still a 3.5, but this one so far definitely hit the biggest notes for me. So these are the isolated thriller horror recommendations that I read in the past, like, I don't know, 9 to 12 months. And if you read any of these, please do share your thoughts, and I hope to see you next time.